I would start my lecture by observing the connections between Liszt and the Gypsies. But first, let's take a look at the hardships the Gypsies have as they live life as nomads, moving from one place to another. This is reality behind the scene. We often one-sidedly glorify the life of nomads as having infinite freedom. That's true, but let's not forget the other side of this advantage. First, the hardships socially, having no citizenships, which means it is difficult to find work or working under low payment. They also receive negative stereotyping such as uncivilized, uneducated, or even being regarded as beggars or thieves. And not to mention the racisms they must suffer from, in addition to their lacking communication ability in terms of the local language. They have not much time when arriving into a new place to learn and master the local language. Now about their living condition. They must survive extreme weathers, mostly on their wagons. Having minimal possessions to carry, mostly were horse traders. And imagine when someone is ill, life could be really miserable, even though they have good knowledge of herbal remedy. Also remember, they must face the situations in which they were never to see again the deceased, while their family bond is quite strong. How heartbreaking this must be. Nature is a home, a sanctuary, a dwelling place where the gypsies belong to. Even though migrating is the way of life, there might be a longing deep down in their soul and mind, the longing to settle down just like normal people. There could be a feeling of being as a rejected group of the society, or a group of people that does not fit into the normal society. This explains many of their musics are in minor tonality. But on the brighter tone, they have a very close attachment to nature. They adore and have deep respect for nature. This is poured out into their music that expresses the grandiose nature. Its charm, like in the spring times, or its magic, like in the autumn times. Or it could be its terrifying power during the storms, or its indifference in the coldest winter blizzards. Amidst the hardships of life these gypsies are facing, they found ways to entertain themselves when they have gatherings, such as at nights in front of a campfire, like their acrobatic skills, dance, magic, or music. These skills are at the same time very essential to earn money for a living. They were known as highly spectacular street musicians. So the connections between Liszt and the Gypsies is the fact that they were wanderers. Let's see what happened between 1823 and 1827. That was between the age of 12 to 16, the age of puberty. Liszt was a traveling prodigy under the management of his own father. This would give the impacts similar to those what the traveling gypsies had, close and strong affinity to the majestic nature. But at the same time, the sense of longing because this young Liszt did not go to school as kids at his age. Hours on the road were spent reading philosophical books, and this truly builds his wandering minds, which leads to the wildness and the freedom at heart and mind as an individual. Beside boats or wanderers, both Liszt and the Gypsies are poets. They express their love of nature and their adventures poetically through their music. It is not just the freedom and the improvisations, but they decorate their music with poetic gestures, which pose a particular challenge for the performers. No other composers traveled as much as Liszt did, and here were some places where Liszt took residencies. For me, I found the connections between Liszt and me in a way that I traveled a lot as a kid. My father loved to travel during the school breaks twice a year. My father always took us to travel by car to different cities in the central Java province to visit our relatives. I also traveled a lot as a kid by train with my grandparents since they did not drive. And this is why I enjoy very much nowadays being a traveling teacher to different cities in Indonesia. Lastly, I am not a poet, but I do love poetry. Now let's discuss what is so special about this piece. This Hungarian Rhapsody number 12 is one of the larger rhapsodies of Liszt. It is very orchestral, with varying textures, such as these low registers, unison opening followed immediately by a rumbling tremolo. Perhaps this unison opening imitates the horn call that has quite a melancholic tone color. And here the opening theme receives its full texture, orchestra tutti, with lower strings moving in a chromatic line with a melodic line in tremolo. This Rhapsody also carries varying portrayals of solistic instruments, such as here, unmistakably the dulcimer, commonly played by the gypsy. Liszt indicated here also allegro cingarese, which means in the gypsy style. This passage is most likely another portrayal of the dulcimer. And now here it may recall the agility of the flute or perhaps piccolo. Beside its orchestral nature, this Rhapsody is also a concerto-like filled with many cadenzas. Now, as for the solo piano work, this and other rhapsodies truly embody Liszt's writing style that is less formal structurally, more in through composed constructions, or free form, featuring many recitative-like passages. And now let's observe the more meaningful content of this Rhapsody. This Rhapsody has complete representations of the wanderer's journey. First of all, many expressions of the majestic natures, such as in the opening, terrifying, vast nature, merciless, and unknown. It also portrays the grand, welcoming, embracing nature here. But it also carries the sense of loneliness, being desolated from civilizations. At times, it reflects the friendly nature, perhaps playful wind that teases the flowers on the field, that gives the feeling of being at home. And the magical beauty that lasts forever, or the vast beauty as far as the stretch of the horizon. The second thing about the wanderer's journey is the uninhibited, simple but ecstatic joy of the free soul and mind. And here is another example of that ecstasy, the taking of the flight, soaring free with these upward scales. And eventually here is the ecstatic expressions of that soaring spirit when man and nature are united, become one. And now, save the best for last. What I like personally the most from this and many other rhapsodies of Liszt. It is this poetic sincerity and kindness, the true virtue of mankind. As a celebrity, there were times Liszt must have been fed up with politics and fake friendships that crowded him. His choice of living a solitary life in a monastery later on in his life proved this. Here is the passage for an example. It is so simple, like a children's song, but its beauty is so exquisite and sincere. Often we modern mankind need to relearn what it means to be carefree like a child. And playing or listening to this kind of music reminds me this true virtue. Here is another passage of that sincerity and simplicity. Again here, it is so simple, so beautiful, so magical. Like a song of a mother that adores her baby and sing to her little one a sweet lullaby of most profound love. Liszt wrote here Sempre Rubato, which is truly communicating to us his demand for utmost poetic expressions. This is a solemn ecstasy in which one's spirit soars high to the stars of this universe. Finally, here are some challenges in performing this piece. And first of all is its electrifying virtuosic passages. Liszt had become so efficient in writing the sound effect of more than two hands by the time he wrote the final versions of his Hungarian rhapsodies. Virtuosic passages in Liszt pieces are very well fitted to the fingers. However, it is very important to remember that they will not automatically come to life. Liszt himself had the magic in his hands that the virtuosic passages in his music are not clanging noises, but an overwhelming, electrifying universe of sparkling colors. And the gypsies also did not play mere virtuosity on their instruments. Both Liszt and gypsies capture the richness and the excitement, or even the ecstasy of life in the wilderness. Pianists are expected to deliver this spirit far more than a mere pyrotechnical display. This passage is for an example. Liszt wrote Stretta vivace. It is not enough to deliver the excitement. It has to reach to the ecstatic excitement. As the word stretta can be translated freely here as stretch to almost exploding, in combinations with vivace, which is swiftly flying or soaring. A pianist needs to reach this level of being electrifying, which is what the true virtuosity is, far above its taxing technical challenges. The second challenge is the delicacy, gracefulness of the ornamentations. Composers are always good at improvisations, and they wrote down their ornamentations, such as in this passage. In practicing the ornamentations, we reverse the process of the compositions. We try to imagine and practice the main melody without any ornamentations. One may choose to imagine the original melody either having D sharp or F sharp in the second measure. When pianists could maintain the simplicity of the original melody, no matter how crowded the ornamentations are, that pianist would effortlessly deliver the decorations, and this brings gracefulness to those ornaments. Just imagine a field of blossoming flowers. Any decorations that is natural will never sound excessive or burdensome, no matter how crowded it is. Unfortunately, the composer will take the blame when it sounds excessive. Flowers bloom effortlessly on the field and bring mesmerizing beauty to their audience. Furthermore, these ornamentations should reflect the poetic natures of their composers and performer. In these little details, the liberty is at the most in ways the flexibility could be executed. Just imagine a person wearing her or his choices of accessories. We could sense the taste and personality of that person. Same are these ornamentations. And this now brought us to the last challenge. That is its poetic and rhapsodic nature. The poetic soul of the Liszt's rhapsodies lies in their ornamentations. The pianists have so much opportunity to express their poetic natures through Liszt rhapsodies. One must not play these ornaments in a straight manner. A pianist must be able to capture their twist and turn, or in other words, we don't just play with the timing, but playfully play the timing here in delivering the story or drama in the music. Let's listen to this passage one more time, and now we focus on its poetic, rhapsodic natures of the ornaments, which truly reflects the overall poetic and rhapsodic natures of this piece and its composer. And I hope this lecture has offered you some new, fresh ways to look at Liszt.